Hello everyone, welcome back. I got some goodies in from Palmetto State Armory. I want to share with you guys today. Um, and I gotta tell you guys, Palmetto State Armory is a company I've always felt really good about. The goal of that company is to make guns affordable, to put them into the hands of as many people as possible, because they understand that the way to protect our Second Amendment rights is to give as many people as possible an interest in protecting those rights. And I'll give you guys an example. I mean, I grew up in New York City, and when I was over there, I didn't get a chance to really own guns until I moved out of New York City. Right, I'm in Pennsylvania now. So basically, I escaped New York City. And what happened is, when growing up in New York City, I didn't own any guns. The Second Amendment really didn't mean anything to me. It wasn't until I visited a friend of mine down in Texas. He had a place set up kind of just like this. Went there, stayed with him for about a week. Within a week, I was like, all of a sudden, the Second Amendment was not somebody else's right. It was my right. It was something I was really interested in protecting. As a result of that, I moved out state, bought land, and basically became a gun instructor. Right. So basically, the reason why I became a gun instructor is because I wanted to teach. I wanted to not just teach people, but I wanted to bring people into our gun community. I wanted to take non-gun owners, right, and turn them into gun owners, right? I wanted to make sure that as many people as possible had a vested interest in protecting the Second Amendment. Palmetto State Armory has that same mentality. I've read it on their website. The way I try to expand gun rights is by bringing in new people into our gun community through training, through instruction. The way Palmetto does it is by supplying everybody with affordable guns that are also reliable, with really good customer service. So I got some goodies here that I look forward to testing out and reviewing for you guys. I got these nice triggers, the straight blade triggers, very light trigger pull. There you go. It's a match grade, 3.5 pound match grade trigger. Zoom in on that. So something I've been wanting to test out and review for you guys. I got 3 of them here. I also got an armoring wrench, something I've been wanting to upgrade. I had a cheap Amazon AR armoring wrench. I got a really good one now from Palmetto. It's nice. It got the logo on it. Some other great tools that if you guys out there have ARs will probably want to get, and they have all this stuff on their website. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of like one-stop shopping. A 4-piece roll, what's it called? Roll pin punch holder set. Okay, that's a tongue twister. I gotta read it. So the purpose of this is, by the way, these are all Palmetto rifles over here. Great training tools. One of the great things is, as I travel around to different ranges and I train people, people see me use these Palmettos to train them. They like the guns, then they turn around and they start, buying themselves. So, without intending to, I've kind of become a salesman for Palmetto. Not because I'm out there kind of saying Palmetto, just because I use the guns. I use the guns. I train people on these guns. People see the guns, and this is kind of what they end up buying. So that roll pin punch set, you see this little roll pin over here on the trigger guard. There's a few other places on the gun. But basically, if you want to get that out or change this piece here, which is something I'd like to do at some point because it's a straight one, I'd like to get more of a curved one. But if you want to punch that out, you got to be careful not to break the ears here, because that's going to mess up your lower receiver if you hit that too hard by accident and crack it. So these pins over here are a perfect tool for getting that out, right, without damaging your lower receiver. So it's called a 4-piece roll pin holder punch set. It's a tongue twister. I got to read that. I can't quite recite that off the memory. I got another drive punch set from them. And what else did I get? I got this really cool mat that I can work on. again, also, sometimes I do like I'll do like gun cleaning for people. I'll do like minor gunsmithing for them. If they want me to change the trigger or something. So that mat will come in pretty handy. For doing that kind of work for people when I'm at different ranges. This is really good stuff. I just want to tell you guys out there, all my viewers, how I feel about Palmetto. They're a really good company. Now I use these guns, like most of these guns here, not all of them. Like this one I just got recently, but like a gun like this one over here. I mean, it's probably close to 10,000 rounds on it already. I've already worn out. I've already worn out the trigger groups and stuff like that. And Palmetto's done a great job of offering me support to keep these guns up and running. The one gun I have not been able to get yet, I haven't seen available, is the dagger with an RMS cut. I use the Palmer 80. Main thing is, I got a bunch of these guns that I built. The reason why I started building these guns, because I actually intended about, I don't know, I guess 2 years ago at this point, to buy the dagger with the red dot on it, and it got delayed. And at the time I was looking for, this was back in 2020. What do you call it? The Glock MOSs were unavailable, sold out all over the place, so I kind of had no choice to build it. The reason why I wanted a pistol with a red dot, because in my experience, right, when I first started training people, it was really before red dots on rifles became popular. And back then what I saw with like a typical situation, I go to a range, there's a couple there, the husband's really the one that's into the guns, the wife or the girlfriend is kind of along for the ride. And being what my goal is, at some point I would try to get the wife or the girlfriend or whatever, the daughters, to try out the shooting, right? So what I found is with iron sights on both rifles and pistols, only about 40% of the women were like, they took a couple of shots and like, yeah, I really want, this is really cool, I want to keep doing this. Most of the women with the iron sights, they had a really hard time lining up the sights or lining up the people. And it wasn't something that they enjoyed as much. But as soon as I put the red dots on the rifles, right, like this one over here, I saw that number jumped way up. Like right away, I saw that, like, I went from like only about 40% of women being really interested in really like shooting these ARs and sticking with them. That number went from like 40% up to about 80, 90%. I mean, they loved the guns. And then when I got them, like, when I even used 9mm rifles, right, like these over here, these are Palmetto 9mm, I find that they like them even more. The reason why I think they like them is, well, rather the reason why they end up shooting these more is because it's very typical. A lot of times a couple will have already bought a pistol. They buy a 9mm, they have 9mm ammo for their pistol that they bought. I show up at the gun range. Basically I know they're gonna have 9mm ammo, so I show up at one of these Palmetto 9mm PX9s, and I'm able to get the women into shooting these guns. And what I find is they really like shooting the rifles with the red dots on it, but not so much the pistols with the iron sights. They go back to the rifles. But I saw an immediate jump as soon as I introduced the red dot on the pistol. Right? I only started putting red dots on pistols last year. Like all of a sudden now I got like 80 to 90% of women that try this gun out. All of a sudden they like shooting it. They're interested in shooting it. So that's one of the obstacles that I've encountered as an instructor with training women. You give them guns with iron sights. The whole lining up the sights, it doesn't, it doesn't quite interest them as much. You give them a gun, whether it be a rifle or a pistol with optics on it, right, with a big circle, right, like this one. This one's got the Holosun 507 ACSS, so it's got that big circle, that 250 MOA circle, so they can get to the center, find that chevron quickly. I mean, they immediately take to it in a way that just never happened with iron sights. So I know there's a lot of people out there that will say, hey, learn your basics. learn learn iron sights first, and then afterwards transition into pistols. And that works great for somebody that's already sold on the gun culture. But when I'm training people, right, and introducing guns to women, and it's basically I gotta hook them. I gotta get them into our culture, and the sure way for me to do that, to accomplish that, is to put them on guns immediately that have red dots that they can basically get on target, score hits, get hits on the steel, hear that ping, 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 ping on the steel, and boom, they're sold. So one of the things I would love from Palmetto is for them to start pumping out the daggers with the daggers with that will take the red dots, the the house on RMSs. Because here's the thing with the rifles, I train people. I say, okay, great, you like the gun, great. This is where you go buy, right? Here's Palmetto's website. Go buy the gun, the rifle. But then they go, okay, great. How about a pistol? And now I'm like, well, you can get a Glock MOS, right? I can't really tell new shooters to build a Polymer 80 because they're just getting into it. This is a little bit too complicated to say, hey, here's all the websites, these are all the components that you gotta get to build your own gun. It would be a lot more convenient for me to be able to say, here you go to Palmetto's website, they got the dagger that's ready to take a red dot on it, order it, you'll have it within a week or two, whatever, and you're ready to start shooting your pistol. So that's the only thing at this point that I really want from Palmetto. But other than that, the company's been great. They've been really good with supplying me, and I just wanted to give a shout out to them for all the good work that they do. Thanks for watching. If you're not a member of the channel, subscribe. Hit that bell button so you get notifications. Talk to you guys soon.